Line open mic presented by the legendary New Eurekan Poets Cafe. You know what it is. Let's get to it. La 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 la. Grab a microphone, get comfortable. It's about to go down. Welcome to the Monday night online open mic presented by the legendary New Eurekan Poets Cafe. I will be your host for the evening. I am Elemental. Happy Monday. This is the jump off. Let's go. We've been doing this for 162 weeks, y'all. 162, can you believe it? Can you dig it? Yep, here we are, y'all. We do this every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. If you're watching on one of these streams and you would like to join us in the Zoom, the number is on your screen, 279-995-364. Trust me, it is a different world inside the Zoom. Jump in, interact with the community. It is going to be one of those nights, just as it is every Monday night. So let's get to it. We do this week after week, thanks to some dedicated folks who pay these bills. All right, so we'd like to thank the National Endowment for the Arts, the New York State Council on the Arts, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, the Amazon Literary Partnership, and the New York Community Trust for hosting our free online events. You can add your energy to the mix with a tax-deductible donation by going to neweurekan.org/contribute or by hitting the Cash App at $ New Eurekan Poets Cafe. Make sure you are plugging in with the dopest host in the Zoomverse, the one and only Ron Mark Thompson, aka RMT. If you're not down with RMT by now, damn it, it should be. Make sure you are plugging in with the squad also. It's Ray Jane, host of Thunder Lung Thursdays. You will hear that again. And Paul Conqueso, Storm God's in the building. That dude hosts one of the dopest nights on Friday, telling you voices and vibes. It's amazing. Make sure you're plugging in. Elemen2al.com. Make sure you're plugging in. Listen, there's so many things going on. I know y'all been seeing some posts. Listen, it's church on the move, y'all, for real. All right, tonight's theme, when they reminisce over you, my God. This is really about thinking back on happy memories, right? This is about who do you enjoy thinking about, right? What memories do you enjoy going back to and kind of going over again and again? Also, reconciliation, right? Write a poem to the crossroads, right? To reconcile with a tough decision, or maybe even someone, that maybe things, didn't turn out all that great. But you know what? When you think about them, hey, it may still be positive. So that is what tonight's theme is. I'm looking forward to it. If your poem is not on theme, that is totally cool. We are still looking forward to hearing your work. All right. Next week's theme coming at y'all. I hope y'all enjoy this one, man. It's going to be kind of tasty. Here it comes. Chocolate. Oh, look at that. Decadence. Okay. What is your relationship with this magnificent occurrence of the cacao plant, right? What is your preference even? Is it dark? Is it semi-sweet? Is it white? Is it bittersweet, right? Bring your favorite chocolate recipe next week and share it with us. All right, serve us an innovative chocolate creation. Define decadence, if you will. Should be a tasty evening. Make sure you're plugging in next week. I am looking forward to all the smoothness that y'all bring. Whew. All right, let's get to these rules so we can get to the poetry. Yeah, we got some here too. Poets, turn your cameras on. We are trying to simulate a live open mic as much as possible. Plus, we love to see the beautiful expression that goes into your poetry delivery. All right, and the dope backgrounds. Make sure you're freaking them out. All right. Listen, make sure you're also changing your Zoom name so it can coincide with how you want people to connect with you on social media, either before or after you perform. Make sure you are plugging your information into the chat so people can connect with you. All right. Poets, have your poems ready. All right. If you're going analog style, dog ear the page if necessary. If you got it digital, make sure the file is accessible and ready to go. If you're using music, which we absolutely love, make sure it's original. We don't want the agents of the interweb interfering with our streams, so make sure your music is original. Poets, you have 3 minutes to rock, all right? You have a 30-second intro. Let the folks know where they can find you online, how they can plug into all the things that you do, right? And then you got these 3 minutes, okay? Please keep in mind that there is an entire list this evening. We want to make sure that we get to everyone. Listen, I'm here, y'all. All right, my Monday is here, right? But not everybody has the 3 or 4 hours to hang out. So please be mindful of the folks coming after you, all right? So we can make sure that we have a great time in a certain time slot. Again, I'm gonna be here, y'all, for real. All right, we have reached night 30 for the babies because there are some explicit lyricists in our community. There are some very powerful poets that may trigger some powerful flashbacks, all right? And the creators of our cafe were very big proponents on freedom of speech, and we will make sure that it flows through the veins of everything that we do. Therefore, there is no censorship other than any ism or hate speech that people may use to try to manipulate people, which will not, I say not, be tolerated. There is no censorship, all right? Thou hast been warned. I'm telling you, thou hast been warned, all right? This is truly a call and response space. After the poets rip, literally and figuratively, all right, rip open a part of themselves and bleed out onto this screen, you will see this pop up. This is when you get a chance to let the poet know and let the community know that you are in here, right? That you are feeling this energy. I continue to say every ounce of energy that you share with the poet, they will bring it or give it back to you in their poetic performance. So don't worry about the noise. It's Monday night, y'all. It's the rowdiest night of the week anyway. So unmute yourself. Let the world know what's going on, baby. It's poetry. It's the hypest night of the week. You know what it is. All right. Sign up tonight is closed. Sign up begins 24 hours before the show, which is 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. All right, to sign up, you go to newyourekan.org. You click on full events calendar. You click on the Monday that you want to perform on. And the trick is an artist RSVP ticket. It's the only way that you're going to get on the guaranteed list is with an artist RSVP ticket. And they will not populate until 24 hours before the show. All right, listen. It is a hot ticket. All right, so make sure you are plugging in, set your alarms. You will see the sign up Sunday post coming up. Listen, make sure you are plugging in. All right, the list is beautifully full as it normally is. It's just the best night of the week. You're going to continue to hear me say that because it is. Also, going on the brick and mortar, the Monday Night Slam hosted by B, the artist. All right. Of course, Soul Preem is going to be doing his thing shortly after. I believe this Thursday, of course, you got performance in poetry. This week is hosted by our own Kyla Thucaya Garcia. If you want to know anything about performance, make sure you are plugging into this crew. These four poets, I'm telling you, they are going to teach you some things about performance that will definitely benefit you on the stage. All right, make sure you're plugging in. I mentioned the Queen, Thunderlung. Make sure you are plugging into Thunderlung Thursdays. It is truly a vibe. All right, we like to call it Guitar Thursdays. We like to call it Therapy Thursdays. It is truly a vibe. Make sure you are plugging in to Thursdays. And of course, the Friday Night Slam with Jive. If you are about that slam life, if you are about that score, listen, make sure you are plugging in because it goes down. All right, tonight's list. Yes, I had to make a couple of changes, but that's all good, right? Because our community is like water, right? We flow, we crash, we break, right? But we're also soothing, we're also rain. So this is how we're going to set it off this evening, and this is what we're going to do. So let's get to it. There's all my rowdy friends here on Monday night. Oh my goodness. It is always so great to see all of you rowdy folks. Again, favorite night of the week. And you're going to find out why coming up very, very shortly. So let's get to it. Posting the list in the chat. And if my leadoff hitters are ready, we'll get to it. Coming up first this evening, for the first time in Monday night history, as far as I know, we are going to start the evening with a collab. So this is how we're going to do it. We are going to start off first. Coming up is our one and only resident beanie goddess, books on books herself, the one and only Pan Lizzy is in the building. And coming up with Pan Lizzy is someone who's about to take us on another micro triptych. The one and only Nemo Zoom is in the building. I don't know if y'all ready for this collaboration, y'all, but it's about to go down. Poets, y'all know what it is. It's great to see y'all. Set it off this evening. Come on.
Hey, beanie blessings to you, E, Ray Jane, RMT, Nemo, and our community. And yeah, we're going to do a few micro triptychs, which is Nemo's form. You ready, Nemo?
I am. Please.
All right. So it's just called a series of woven micro triptychs. I can throw, not toss, bakery bread into several New York rivers and sounds every Yom Kippur, and still cannot forgive myself for the mistakes I have made. Atonement has never been consistent in my vocabulary. Did they write the play Bad Jews about me? I want to reconcile with the most important person in my life, me. So the breezes that kick up on the shores of the New York rivers and sound feel soothing and not traumatic. I may be the one in the middle of the waves, but the beach refuses to let me find safety on her shore. Perhaps she is not my friend, or she is my future partner teaching me the frigid lessons that the sea salt has been throwing in my face as I freeze in the seaweed and accumulated trash that remains in these blue blankets. I have learned to release the messiness of others from my shoulders, given forgiveness is consent I cannot offer to everyone. Yes, I can release my own tension from my triceps.
My people are nomads, wanderers who left New York shores 3 generations ago. They strode into the desert 2 by 2, and whatever they left home searching for, they never found it. Can we reconcile with ghosts, forgive phantoms? Can we make peace with people who were never there in the first place? Who are we to forgive those who will never ask? We are the ones left behind. If she swam away, I didn't hear her go. So the sea must have her, swirling in the darkness. The depths pull at my legs, and maybe there's a part of me that wants to give in, just let go and join her in the abyss. How many eyes shining below are watching as I bob up and down on the waves?
The sea want me to find happiness, or simply move through the rough currents until I cannot move my body anymore. What happens on low tide days when no one has the energy to even dip their toes in the base of her, or seaweed piles up, one cannot grasp the idea of relaxation. One day I will become easier to learn how to forgive ourselves, perhaps those who have abused us, until they become one with the bottom feeders and earthworms. It may not be possible. Boundaries have boundaries. It's called being human. Until the day the carnivores learn to leave, grow tired of their rotten ways, all we can do is release their toxic tension and learn to live in a full ketosis life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sometimes all we can do is hope to release their toxic tension. Indeed. Mute yourself. Give it up for them, Pan Lizzy and Nemo.
Thank you. Thanks for creating with me, Nemo.
Yeah, Nemo.
Thank you.
Awesome job.
Honor.
Yeah. Look forward to
Fantastic
seeing
collab. Woo!
micro triptychs.
That is how you set it off in the building. I appreciate both of y'all for doing what you do. I was so much looking forward to that once I heard it was going down. Listen, because the way that both of y'all write is just so it's like tingles your bone marrow, man. And I really appreciate that. Really, like, I believe Deadpan said, release the meanness of others, right? And then Nemo said, can you reconcile with ghosts? I don't know, right? But this is why we're here, right? This is part of that work to put those things into the ether, right? What happens on low tide days? Come on, right? You have to become one with the bottom feeders. I love it, right? But that's also acknowledging the top and the bottom, right? And recognizing where you are in the midst of all of that. Thank y'all for bringing that incredible collaboration to us this evening and for setting us off the way that we should. Listen, y'all, the Starship has left the building. We are underway. Let's keep it going. Coming up next, our resident blacksmith, the legend of our community, Mr. Lighthouse Writer himself, the one and only Michael Schindler is in the building. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. It is always great to see you, Michael Schindler.
Oh, it's always great to see you too. And I just, Lizzie has her form that she created, and we've seen that expand. And here she is helping someone else expand their form. That is so cool. And Nemo, it's like you have a way of like just being able to mesh the pain and the healing together into something and really show what healing is all about. Just really love your work. I do want to go ahead and put in a word for lighthousewriters.org. Always wonderful, and remind people that LitFest is coming up in June, and there are still a few things that are available that you can do on Zoom. So it's well worth going ahead and checking the calendar, and there's free stuff every single evening. So you can definitely tune into all that. In going with the theme, this whole Mary thing, I sort of switched what I was going to do, and I decided I'd do this one that I've done before called a U-shaped hole. Every love story is a ghost story. David Foster Wallace. You are still in my heart. Look, it's a U-shaped hole right here. See it? I tried to fill it in. Doesn't work. whatever and whoever, they just slip right out, fall away. It's like that stupid fairy tale slipper made to order too precise a fit for another foot. Why is that? My heart keeps beating, but there is a faint murmur, a flutter, a short stop, a pause for thought, an echo in the chamber. If you didn't know the sound, if you hadn't rested an ear to my chest so many times, if you were anyone else, you wouldn't notice, couldn't notice. It would seem as solid as any other, no missing form, exposing sore muscle in each ventricle, chambers of sorrow, a temporal disorder, a custom cabinet. You could slip right back in it, ease into the warm welcome, but we know better. Your home is not here. This U-shaped hole, always available, always unfilled. And this is a newer one. This is called Tickle. Best not to leave bitter. Add sweetener if you must. Let the sour tickle. Pursed lips are ready to be kissed. And last, I'll do this tanka called No Less Real. They say in the end, all is dust and DNA, swept or blown away, no less real a form than ours. Everything's distilled from stars. Okay, thank you very much.
Everything is distilled from stars. Damn it, he said that. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Michael Schindler.
Great to hear you, Michael.
Michael, love your work.
Great job.
Man, I continue to tell y'all, right? Our resident blacksmith, because his pen stays so sharp. And he said, oh, I believe I shared this with y'all, but then I'm going to throw some new stuff in there too. And here's a form for you while I'm referencing someone else's form. I'm going to throw a tanka in your day. Take that. I love the title of the first poem, Mr. Schindler, A U-Shaped Hole. Right? Just a U-shaped hole? Huh. An echo in the chamber? Yes. Yes. If you were anyone else, you wouldn't notice. Of course. That is just such an amazing perspective, right? Because eventually we're all going to be, dust and DNA, but we will remember that we were here listening to Michael Schindler. Thank you for being a valued mainstay of our community. All right, y'all. I told y'all we are on the way. We're going to keep it going. Coming up next, where is that damn fireman? Listen, make sure you got your extinguishers ready, handy, because our resident Flametastic is about to set ablaze to your eardrums and your screens. The one and only Poetastic is in the building. Come on, Eddie. Tell the people what you do, man. Take it away.
You know what I do? I push my poetry right on through. And thank you, my bro, like no other, with words like thunder. Thank you for making our Monday night such a delight in the wonderful open mic. Woo! All right. My name is Ed Poetastic for Fantastic. Please get in time to enjoy my rhyme for Alpha Sublime. I got one piece, so you know it's gonna rhyme. This is called The Loser King. I remember when I was a kid, I was so small. My mind was more blank than any wall. I remember when I wore goggles, kids teased me saying you didn't look right. The light helps me see the child's fights. I remember kids call me Special Ed. I can make a guess, but only God knows why. It was for my darling head. I sighed, wept, and cried. I remember reading comics, heroes basking in the limelight, never getting hurt from spite, hits, or lonely nights. I remember being a nerd, hearing the kids laugh like hyenas. My tears rained down slower than any slugs. I remember when I was bullied. Punks beat me black and blue. I was only a kid. I didn't know what to say or what to do. I remember when I didn't know how to read. The books haunted me. I failed it. I didn't know how to sleep. I remember books perplexed me. Worldly patterns I didn't understand. The confusion stung like bees. Only bright virtue I thirst and demand. I remember getting bad grades. Teachers used to bite my ears off. They didn't know whether to scream or to scoff. I remember being slow. My mind was the turtle and everything was the hare. Nobody helped, shared, or cared. I remember being poor, scavenging like a little mouse. I watched other rodents scratch, nibble, and pounce. I remember when I didn't have any friends. The loneliness eats away at me, hoping someone could keep me company, please. I remember my life was so cold, body getting engulfed in snowy hurricane, frozen solid from pale hopes, frigid dreams, and bitter pains. I remember having my mom, but never my dad. I used to blame myself if I did something more hurtful or bad. I remember wishing I wasn't born. I just needed to escape from the misery, wishing I was a bug or the clear blue sea. I remember my first love. She never noticed me, not even my name. I used to run and hide away from the shame. I remember being a little loser. I used to condemn it by wear with pride. Now the skies are bluer on the other side. Thank you.
I'm gonna yell at you in a second. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Eddie Foreman.
I'm so sorry to hear about the times
We
you've
love
had.
you, Eddie.
Thank you for sharing with
We
us.
absolutely love
Thank
you.
you.
And I love you guys too. They can make me feel every color but blue. They were pushing through. Remember that I love each and every one of you.
Listen, this is why I love our community. And we love you too, Eddie. Come on now. This is why I love our community, really. First of all, from the top, that cat said the poem was called The Loser King. First of all, and second of all, and third of all, Eddie, I'm gonna need you to write that script. Go ahead and make that a movie, a children's book, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, right? The Loser King is such a dope title. So continue to work on that because you got an entire story in what you said, right? Only God knows why, right? Say, I remember being a nerd. Come on, Deadpan, tell him, right? Right? I remember being a nerd when I was bullied, right? When I didn't know how to read. The confusion stung like bees. Come on, Eddie, if this is not a children's book waiting to happen, right? If this is not a movie waiting to happen, listen, come on, right? My mind was the turtle. Everything else was the hare. Okay. Okay. like this is why we're here, y'all, right? And this is why I've heard it said before. You should never ever piss off a poet, right? You should hope in your life that you've never ever done anything bad to a poet, because when you show up in a poem 10 years later, oh my gosh, it is cataclysmic. Thank you, Eddie, for sharing that with us. I'm gonna be on your ass, sir, because I want to hear how that unfolds. That's a hell of a story, Eddie. For real. Thank you for sharing it with us. All right, let's keep it going. Coming up next, our community's newest author. Their book is coming out very soon, and I'm gonna make sure you plug it. I don't care if they're vexed or not. Lex is always so on point. It is always great to hear the one and only Vex Lex in the building. Unmute yourself, Lex. Let the folks know where they can find you and how they can get your manuscript. Take it away, Lex. Great to see you.
Thank you, Elemen2al. Appreciate that. So you can follow me on Instagram at VexLexPoetry, and to pre-order a copy of my book coming out this summer with Red or Green Books, you can go to my website, officialvexlex.com, fill out the form on the first page, and that's how you do it. All right, so this piece is called Essence. Divorce is not easy for anyone, but is necessary when someone wants to hold on for the wrong reasons, and the other wants to let go for the right ones. Comfort and routine are no longer able to sustain a viable partnership. Air desperately clings onto fire, pleading for her continued companionship. But fire insists on removing herself from this marriage. Over the years, they have created beautiful destruction together. And air continues to remind fire that she needs him, that she will no longer be the blaze she has worked so hard to become, but will be reduced to embers. Fire has accepted her fate. There will always come a time when a flame must flicker out. She has chosen to burn out gracefully, keeping her spark alive for as long as she can. She reminds air of his polygamous nature, that earth needs him for protection, and if he needs any more of an ego boost, that he and water can bond happily over their collective importance. Air pleads for fire to reconsider, but fire knows their marriage will never know anything besides combustion. Thank you.
Just like your page will know nothing other than combustion when your pen hits it. Damn it, Lex. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Vex. Lex.
Woo!
Great piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I absolutely love Monday nights because where else in the world can you bring so many fire-breathing, passionate poets together that do this? I mean, do this. Some people dabble. Some people claim they do this. But let me tell you, folks, these people in this building, we do this. And that's just another example. She said, comfort and routine are not in a comfortable relationship, right? But they created beautiful destruction together. God, come on. Beautiful destruction, Lex. Come on. Come on. Fire has accepted her fate, right? And she has chosen to burn out gracefully. I saw a couple other folks got that line too. That was just, come on. That's Johnny Storm level. Come on, Lex. He and water can bond happily. Go and do your thing. I love it. I love it. Tell you, this community is off the chain, off the charts, off the Richter scale, and every temperature, thermometer, centigrade, or Fahrenheit that you can calculate. This is what we do. Thank you, Lex. Make sure you are plugging into Lex and grabbing their manuscript before it comes out. Telling you. All right. Coming up next, this gentleman, oh my goodness, has a tendency to raise the IQ in every room he steps into. So make sure your medulla is strapped on tight, y'all, because he's about to oblongata. The one and only Mr. Tess Sawmill is in the building. It is time for our Tess Talk. Let the folks know where they can find you, Mr. Tess. Always great to see you. Take it away.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody on the Monday night open mic for the New Eurekan Poets Cafe. Thank you, Mr. Elemen2al. I'm going to jump into, and folks can follow me on Instagram under Cassius 2019. I'm going to continue with Time Tacos, and we have a scene titled Rendezvous with Importunas, Bullying. Bully one. Hey, Escipion, what kind of name is that? Skippy? It's my name. Bully number two. It sounds like some kind of disease. Skippy. Very funny. Bully number three. What's wrong with you? Can't you even speak English? What kind of, what? That's why they call you Skip. That's why we call you Skippy. Bully number two. Why couldn't your parents give you a normal name? Sorry. Okay, it says Skippy. My name is Escipion, and I speak English just fine. Bully number one. Well, we don't like your name. It's weird. And we're going to keep calling you Skippy. Skippy. Why do you have to be so mean? Bully number two. Because we can. We're bigger and stronger than you, and we're like making fun of people. Skippy. That's not right. Bully number three. Who cares? You're just a Mexican loser from East LA. You're never going to amount to anything. Skippy. That's not true. I can be anything I want. I'm proud of my cultura. Bully number one. Whatever. We're done wasting our time on you. Just remember, you're always going to be Skippy to us. Skippy. Fine. I don't care what you call me. I know who I am. Bully number 1. Tito, do you also like those greasy tacos you always bring for lunch? Bully number 2. Yeah, why don't you eat something healthy for once? Tito, what? Bologna with some weenies frosted with some mayonnaise? That's perfect bacterial petri dish. Bully number 3. And what's up with that big mustache? You look like Pancho Villa. Tito, I love tacos, and this is my mustache. It's part of who I am. Skippy, hey, leave him alone. He's just being himself. Bully number 1. Oh, look, it's Skippy, tough guy, friend. You're just as weird as he is. Bully number 3. Yeah, why don't you go eat some tacos with him, Tito? Tito, I'll eat tacos with whoever I want, and I don't care what you think. Bully number 3. Come on, guys, let's go. These losers aren't worth our time. Skippy, thanks, Tito. I thought they were going to make me feel bad for being me. Tito, bro, man, you're perfect just the way you are. And I'll always have your back, you know, as long as you've got some tacos. It's hard to be Skippy in East LA, but it's definitely better than Escipion. Tito could definitely get by with that name. Skippy, born and raised in the vibrant and very brown, diverse city of East LA. As the son of Mexican immigrants from Michoacan and Jalisco, he has grown up in a bilingual, bicultural household that emphasizes the importance of family, hard work, and traditional values. However, Skippy feels trapped by the limited opportunities, the internal colonial model, the exclusionary otherness in his community, and yearns for something more. Physically, Skippy is a tall, lanky young man with an Aztecan prominent nose and sharp features. His black hair is usually styled in a messy, rebellious manner, and he often wears streetwear clothes that represent his love for hip-hop culture. Although he's lean, he has a wiry strength that comes from his love of breakdancing and skateboarding. Mentally, Skippy is intelligent and introspective. He, with a love for literature and poetry that often sets him apart from his peers. He has a conflicted relationship with his Mexican heritage, sometimes feeling proud of his roots, but also frustrated by the prejudice and discrimination he faces as a Chicano in America. He has a fierce sense of justice and a desire to make a difference in the world, but he often struggles to find his place in the barrio. Emotionally, Skippy is passionate and intense with a tendency to get caught up in his emotions. He is struggling with feelings of isolation in you and believes that there must be more to life than the daily grind of school and work. He's often moody and unpredictable, but also deeply caring for his close friends, his family, especially his jefita. And I'll stop there.
Yeah, I'm just let y'all savor the taste of those tacos for a second. Yeah, unmute yourself. Give it up for Mr. Tess Sawmill.
Yeah,
Yay!
you paint such a vivid picture. Yeah.
I love
go.
this story.
Tell him,
The narrative.
tell him, Marion. Listen, Merrily, listen. The way that you tell stories, Mr. Tess, right? We can taste the flavors in there, right? It's just the way that you use language, right? First of all, and your interactions inside your poem, inside your story are amazing, right? Your dialogue is off the chain, right? So you can't even speak English. That's why we call you Skippy. What? What? He said, you're just a Mexican loser from East LA, right? But the most beautiful thing about that interaction was he said, I'm proud of my cultura, right? I'm proud of who I am, right? I don't care what you call me because I know who I am. Oh. And then to have a friend that says, you're perfect just the way you are. I'll always have your back. You know what, Mr. Tez? That's who we are in that story. We are the friend that will always have your back. And anytime you want to get tacos, let me know, man, because we will go get some damn tacos for real. For real. Make sure you're plugging in with Mr. Tez and getting his latest manuscript. I Am Not Your Chihuahua. Listen, the reviews on Mr. Tez's latest work are amazing, right? If you're not sure about that, go back and check a couple weeks ago when he was reading the reviews to his manuscript. They are amazing too. Thank you, Mr. Tez, for being a valued member of our community. Listen, from one master to another, there is a Jedi master coming on the other side of my voice. The metachlorian count of this one is off the charts. The one and only OG that I know that, as I've said, is in the original New Eurekan Poets Cafe anthology, Aloud. The one and only Paul Skiff is in the building. Unmute yourself, Jedi Master. Let the folks know where they can find you. It is always great to see you and share space with you. Take it away.
Hey, hi, everybody. Thanks, Elemen2al and RMC lurking there in the background, keeping the electricity flowing. Thanks, everybody, for being here again. It's just a very vital place for me to be. What an understatement. I just have two things. The first one's really short. They're both loosely sort of on theme. You are dead, and I cry because I cannot remember the last time you touched me. The pussy willow switch you planted grew taller than the flagpole. And the next piece is a little longer. This has the title, Sacrifice. Within box carried beneath my sleepless conclusion bridge, I restore to you warm, uncommon clover green clothes that wrapped my body under breath held for a month. You exhale now into the history made by the current. The jacket, the pants span from collusion to heartbeat, allowed my passage through storm that would engulf me in lifeless streets where human strength fails and markets have been emptied of food by the fearful. I did accept your protection, and among the disaster that fell from the sky on hammering wind, I strolled my immune smile, as it were to me, the giver of joy labored for by no need. Confidence of my ability to plunge through harsh adversity rests again with you. From where came this survival, certain and abundant? My tumid heavy breaths made to cold smoke by storm blasts over an abandoned avenue, find them among the tight weave of the cloth alone. There as singular conversions with chance to understand. How were it now? You could not know solitude of birth, struggle, departure of physicality, constant move of the empty bowl to the gift. I yield back to you these wings, the wish for freedom, pursued by thousands of years of humanity, in order so you could live to pass over the day stump and see the sunrises 3 times above such oceans we cannot quite dream. Yes, you, butterfly giver. Between shores, the ocean flies 3 suns. One filters your voice through coal smoke in the plazas. Another is the grandmother who carries upon her back sleeping tomorrow in a blanket. The third sun is a place with no private skin, no body, no boundary at all. I take myself upon these open portions of change to agree with the visible need. How were it now you could not be among the illumination that will not cease? The care-wrought missives to you I render, your own past, your unanimous heart, existences cradled out of nothing. You flew them from gleaming instant that put your hands together in a pot of light. You said, vanished wounds are released by the promise of new life. When lived up to with vitality beyond regrets, eulogy, you said. Vanished wounds are released by the promise of new life when lived up to with vitality beyond regrets, eulogy. I have been strength to pass this spark along beneath the barrier made of false voices, artificial months, uncrossed bridge that halves us, to give back to your clarities what they entered here through your mouth, that the falsity with which in anger you damned me by these bonds be righted away in the life of our feeling. How were it now? How were it now? How were it now? You could not be in union. Now you could not be in union. With what is never acquired through an act of will. With what is never acquired through an act of will.
You know, there are just, I said it a minute ago, there are people that do this, and there are people that do this. Unmute yourself, give it up for Paul Skiff!
Woo!
Oh,
Great
there's
job,
no
Paul.
one like you. Yeah, you're one of a kind. It's amazing.
The only Jedi Master I know in this galaxy. He is the only member of our community that I know, as I mentioned before, that is in the original New Eurekan anthology. this poet still carries the essence of the founders along with him. There are a few others of our community that do as well, but this happens to be one of them. So make sure you are sending your love and respect to the Jedi Master. Listen, he said in his first poem, he said, I can't remember the last time you touched me, right? But the pussy willows you planted are now taller than the flagpole. The memories of people, right? And this is what I'm talking about, right? This is what this theme is about. When I reminisce over you, right? All those things, all those powerful, positive things, right? That sometimes are persuaded by 1,000 years of humanity, right? They can be a butterfly giver, as you mentioned, Mr. Skiff, right? But thankfully, we are among the illumination that can see. And we can see you and recognize your brilliance and be grateful that you are a part of our community. Thank you, Jedi Master, for sharing your Mondays with us. Always. Truly, truly appreciate you. All right. From one fairy tale to another. Coming up next, this incredible heroine or super shero continues to make space for people in all they do. This person is just so connected to our community, right? They continue to make space and open doors for so many members of our community. Someone I love to call the daughter of Krypton, the one and only Finn Bell is in the building. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. It's always great to see you. Take it away.
Good to see you too. Thank you so much, Elemental. Hello, family. You can find me on Instagram. I am Finn_Bell. So one new poem and one old one. The new one is actually a simple panku. As you guys all know, the panku was created by our very own dead Pan Lizzy. So this is called Season of the Hunt. Do-si-do, pristine pleated cotton, boys lounge on walls, postured like roosters. Girls claim the middle, laughter blossoms. Dancing is freedom. Freedom deceives. Pale butterfly fingers follow sound, do-si-do, crisp shirt exhortation, virgins on display, nervous titter. Rum and smoky air makes men of boys. Dance them around before their bloom fades. So that's the first poem. And revisiting an older poem. This one is called Dear Girl, When. Dear 5-year-old, the tadpoles are growing up quite nicely, don't you think? I think by Saturday we'll have about a dozen bullfrogs. Do you think the pattern on our bedroom curtain looks like wise cats or laughing faces? Our sister has decided that we are old enough to learn fractions. Did you know plastic palm leaves pressed on Play-Doh make neat, pretend, archaeological dig fossils? Today, we play the Wizard of Oz with our stuffed animals and the glazed ceramic lion in the living room. Dear 10-year-old, you don't have to pretend that you cannot understand or speak the language. I think they should know that their taunting hurts your feelings. Are you making friends? Have the other kids stopped staring at you and asking why your eyes are not blue? I think that Bob suits your face. You're still cute as a ladybug. Long hair grows back fast anyway. I still haven't gotten over Vicks Vapor Rub in teeny tiny quarter-sized tins and Coca-Cola in plastic bags. What odd people. Dear 19-year-old, we are back in the land of rock and roll, the red, white, and blue, and excess. Do you feel kano again? Are you dying to scrape the 8-year thick Batangueña accent from your tongue? The boys here are pre-sold with swagger and hormones included, and the girls come glamour shot worthy and packaged ready to that is ready to wear. Keep your morals, keep Dr. Jose Rizal's Maria Clara on speed dial, but don't forget you're only young once. So have lots of fun. Dear 35-year-old, your bombshell manual is both weapon and Bible. I hope you could still hear me through the in-between of your clickety-clack stilettos. Stay afloat, even if only your nose tip conquers the tide. Submerged below water is still you, beneath the bodycon basement swaddled in bravado. In your sleep, your heart keeps time faithfully to the words emerging, an agonizing tick-tock that sticks between the brain and nestles in your hard palate. Dear 5-year-old, is that you? The bullfrogs have all left. The curtain holds shapes, not joyful faces. Real cats cannot talk. I have decided our sister is almost ready to learn fractions. Still, I am generous and give her the lion's share. Did you know that nails impressed upon upper arms bring blood and reality to the surface? When we arrived, at long last, at the Emerald Gates, we were told that the wizard had ballooned home. Thank you.
Ain't that about a golly? Unmute yourself, give it up for Finn Bell.
Great work, Finn Bill.
Finn, yeah.
Great job.
Nice.
Beautiful.
And wizard. You know how long it took me to get here? And your ass is gonna float away on a balloon by the time I get here? Dirty, rotten, some of them. Listen, the way that you use words is just always so incredible, right? In the first poem, which is a Panku, shout out dead Pan Lizzy, creator of the Panku, right? 9 words or 9 stanzas of 9 words, right? 9 stanzas, 9 words. Listen, I love that. Again, we just continue to feed our community and build and grow within our community. I truly love how you weaved into the poem what you love, right? She mentioned dancing is freedom, right? Butterfly fingers follow sound, right? Rum and smoky air makes men of boys. Coming back at you, Finn, really quick, coming back at you. 2 things. One, of course, I always love to know why you chose to flip it into your original language. But I would love for you to kind of go over or tell us about that line when you mentioned your bombshell manual is both weapon and Bible.
Yeah, back in my 30s, all the things that you have to get out of your system and be bad so you can be pure again. That's basically what that was. It was everything to follow the most decadent things. I guess I should save that for next week's theme. Did all the decadent, dirty, ugly, just unforgivable things, and yeah, you have to do that. So that's basically what it is. To not say so much.
Thank you, Finn Bill, for allowing the community a little bit of insight on how your mind works to create such incredible poetry. Truly, truly appreciate you for being a valued member of our community. Make sure you are plugging in with the Daughter of Krypton. They will definitely make space for you. They got to wake up and write writing sprint in the morning. They got open mics. Make sure you're plugging in with them on Twitter. They'll read you some stories. Always incredible. Make sure you're plugging in with Finn Bell. All right. Coming up next, the Magus is in the building, y'all. I had the beautiful delight of hanging out with this cat on Friday night. Shout out Open Minds, Open Mic, Thomas and Catalyst. They featured this incredible poet who has come into our community with all the damn gusto and continue to suck all the gusto out of all the damn rooms that he goes into. The one and only Gusto Silas is in the building. Unmute yourself, Gusto. Let the folks know where they can find you online, man. I'm ready for all the gusto you got this evening. Take it away.
Hey, beloved poets, my camera just stopped working. I can't seem to fix it. I was like delighted you were talking to Finn for a while because I was trying to fix it, but I just can't. So I've got 2 poems for you this evening. Sorry, I'm not on screen here. This is called Reconciled. The time has come to reminisce. If I did not, I'd be remiss. And now to you, dear, my thoughts do stray. I never meant to treat you that way, but I was immature and too self-centered to see that you were truly the one for me. Your love I treated with disdain. From fucking around, I did not refrain. All the girls and all the drugs could not sweep my issues under rugs. It took some time for me to mature. Now that I'm ready, you're not, that's sure. I will always miss your mind. A genius is hard to find. I treated you with no class. You were right to dump my ass. You were the one, I'm still beguiled. To this, I'm now reconciled. And this little piece is for y'all. It's called Fractal Love. I love you all like Joni loves Chachi, all in sequence like Fibonacci. The nature of love is like a fractal, defying gravity like a pterodactyl. Wisdom comes from endless learning, seeking gnosis, ever yearning to fill the heart and feed the soul with nature's wisdom, my only goal. Thank you so much, y'all. Have a good evening. I love you all.
Oh man, listen, whether that cat's on the camera or not, he still brings all the gusto. Unmute yourself, give it up.
Yeah, Gustav.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
Yes.
Nice.
Listen,
Love
Make
it.
make a
Gusto,
math
you
picture is
continue to
Poetastic.
do that, man. Gosh, listen. Gustav is one of those dudes. If I didn't tell him how dope he was, I'd be remiss also, right? Listen, and I love the fact that, you know, I love when poets really dig into these themes, right? He said, your love I treated with disdain. I love that, right? When you think about some of the things and you're trying to go back and you're trying to say, you know what? Yeah, I kind of did fuck up in some of those spaces, right? And he said that, I will always miss your mind. A genius is hard to find. Come on, man. And if you folks don't know who Joni or Chachi is, make sure you plug into that, right? He said like Joni loves Chachi. Some of y'all might not have gotten that, but make sure you find out what that means, right? Also, wisdom comes from endless learning. Thank you, Gustav. Thank you, Gustav. That dude, whether he's on camera or not, Gustav is always dope. Before we move on, let me shout out a couple people. Doug Silver is in the building. Always great to see Professor Platinum. Make sure you're plugging in with him. Marsha Rivera is in the building. Miss Brimlow herself is here. Poet Talk, watching on YouTube all the way from Japan. Shout out Kubota Slam. That cat's amazing. If you don't know about Poet Talk, make sure you are plugging in with him. V Sykes is also watching on YouTube. Appreciate you for checking us out. Melinda Lucas is in the building. Man, one of these days, Melinda Lucas, we are going to hear you. They continue to come through and share their energy with us time after time, night after night. Mr. Speaker is in the building. Always great to see that, cat. Listen, the energy is flowing. I shout out these folks because they are not on the list, right? But they have come to share their energy in multiple places and multiple spaces to continue to grow our community. Thank y'all. All right. Coming up next, this poet. I like to yell at this poet, right? I made sure that this poet knew that they were a mainstay of our community and we needed to make sure that they came back. And I see that they have been, you know, back with a vengeance. And I love to see it. The one and only Poetic Desire is in the building, y'all. Unmute yourself, East. Let the folks know where they can find you online. Tell them about it. Take it away.
Yes, hello. Yes, I love being back. And when I come back, the inspiration never ends, especially from all of you wonderful people. Facebook, Instagram, Poetic Desire with a K, 6-word memoirs with Poetic Pisces, spelled the normal way. So the poem I'm going to share today, I wrote it as a sestina that I learned from Ray Jane. And I said I would try it after learning the tritina. So that geared where this went. So it was very interesting and a little tricky, but we'll see what y'all think. All right. This is called A Love So Reminiscent. Deep in the depths of my heart and mind shall remain my undying love for and need of you. I lay in darkness thinking of your fond memory, digging deep within emotional caverns of unforgettable abyss. Hold on, my computer is slowing down. Uh-oh, hold up, no. You can still hear me though, right?
Oh, of course. No worries, East.
Okay.
We got you. All right. We gonna work through the technical difficulties.
I'm gonna pull it up on my phone. If you give me 1 second, I can pull it up on my phone. It was right there with no problem. I am so sorry. Well, back up.
No worries. We are here for it. Right. This is again. That's why I said in the beginning.
Technical difficulties, right?
Like water.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Okay, here it is. It's coming up. Oh, now it's scrolling, but I can't trust it. I'm going to read from my phone. Okay, let me start over. Is it fine if I start over then? Okay.
Of course.
A love so reminiscent. Deep in the depths of my heart and mind shall remain my undying love for and need of you. I lay in darkness thinking of your fond memory, digging deep within emotional caverns of unforgettable abyss, unlocking thoughts and feelings I long to reminisce, keeping me in this eternal loop of romanticized reverie. Starry visions of love line the winding, shadowy path of lost love's reverie. I walk in reverse, seek an appearance of a forward path to you to remain, so that I wouldn't have to move through life's paths alone to reminisce of what has long been missed of love and presence of you. Drowning me in despair, heartstrings strangle me through my heartbroken abyss. Why did it have to end? A love that was perfectly meant to be, now nothing but a memory. There's more joy than misery to be cherished of our love connection's memory that piles on like icebergs, building big, indestructible, conceptualized reverie like the Titanic's heart of the ocean. Our unbreakable love faded quietly into the abyss. A symbol of our love resides, survives, as a relic remain. Those parts most cherished of us, of you, I can't shake it. I can't let go. My heart forever wants to reminisce. Those loving encouragement, sweet words that spill from your mouth, I reminisce. The feelings you made course through my veins, a sweet and satisfying memory. Every part of us was special, deep, a true love I found in you. There was no reason to ever give up on this once in a lifetime actualized reverie, a connection that keeps us bonded, keeps us longing for a love that still remains. Like a phoenix, it keeps trying to rise from its fiery, desirous abyss. Love of infinite measure, so open, so vast, pursues perpetual, hopeful abyss. Coincidental instances of song, situation, experiences forever capture my attention to reminisce. Reminders are everywhere, through everyone, through everything, you remain. This unforgotten, can't ever be forgotten, ingrained memory. With eyes closed, eyes open, I see nothing but a past full of dreamy reverie, where the truest essence of love, of what it means, what it is, was always best shown through you. No one ever loved me, cared for me, uplifted me, desired me as much as you. When any lover but you fails to properly love and understand me, I fall into the unwanted abyss. Feeling not as wanted as you wanted me, please bring to life reconciled reverie. Let's harmonize two beings who never truly parted. Together forever, we each did reminisce of a love so undeniably true, every time wanting to reenact each deeply guarded memory, to change past choices. Let our two halves best complete our whole being. Soulmates we remain. The beauty of our star-destined love, I reminisce. Don't just reside in my heart and mind as a faded memory. Come back to me. Shine upon me your constant, unconditional, passionate love to remain. Good night.
And this is why I had to make sure that Poetic Desire came back to our community. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Poetic Desire.
Nice work.
Oh.
Listen,
Thank you.
listen. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the poetic form of Sestina, but it is not easy. It is not easy. It's one of the most challenging forms that I've taken on so far. It really is. East, I'm coming back at you real quick because I love how you flipped the iceberg, right? I love that, right? Because the iceberg takes us to so many different parts. Again, when we reminisce about things and the imagery, movies and things, tell me how your poem went into the iceberg realm.
Well, because I was thinking for some reason the Titanic with like Heart of Ocean, Can't Let Go. And I don't remember where it started, but somehow the icebergs came to mind because it's such a big, unbreakable structure, but it holds so much to it and so much can be hidden underneath the water as well that you don't know is there. And so I don't know, it just felt like something I could use as a metaphor or whatever. And especially with the Titanic and that love that doesn't end. And it made me think of that necklace and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, and I had to use the abyss as much as possible. So the ocean abyss. So, you know.
Thank you, East. I truly appreciate you for sharing that with us. This is why I love our community, y'all, because of things like this, right? Because we take the themes, right? And clearly I told y'all plenty of times that y'all all have poetic license to take these themes and flip them however you so choose. I love that iceberg metaphor, right? Because it is so much of what we see, right? And it is so much tied to, again, the theme of Titanic, right? Beyond the fact that so many people lost their lives in that, it was centered on a love story, right?
That's hard to break an iceberg. So true love is hard to break. So, you know, it stands, it lasts.
Yes. And that's what I love about it also, right? You're again, when you think about an iceberg, you're still only seeing part of it, right? When you step into a love story or your own love story, you're still only seeing part of it. But the depth of it, the real base of it is what you really have to dig and find for. Listen, this is why, again, this is why I love our community. First of all, she took the poem, the story, and put it in a sestina. And again, like I said, if you are not familiar with the form of sestina, it is not easy, right? Soulmates we remain. Yes. This, and again, this is what poetry is, right? We are all soulmates of poetry, and we will remain as such. Thank you, East, for coming through and being a valued mainstay of our community. Listen, this is why I love our community, right? Because there are so many, facets, so many different angles, so many different fractals in our community. It continues to grow and surprise me every single week. And coming up, here comes another one, a brand new member of our community. Oh my gosh, y'all. 162 weeks in, and we have a new member of our community. This is the Undetermined Cause. Please unmute yourself. First of all, welcome to the Monday Night Online Open Mic. Welcome to the greatest community in the world. Please, without giving me your address, tell us where in the world you are located.
I'm in Virginia. I'm very close to Poetic Desire, and I just want to thank her for inviting me tonight. So
you see how this happens? 1 second, please. You see how this happens? You see how beautiful our community grows, right? Because one person brings another, and one person brings another, and another, and another, and this is how our community has grown for years and years, and we will continue to do so. Please, like the Queen likes to say, listen, on the other side of this, no matter what happens, you have got a crazy bunch of people who are going to scream at you and welcome you into our community. Please let the folks know where they can find you online, right? The floor is yours. Please take it away.
I'll put my email in the chat box when we're done, but I have to say I've only read my poetry to a few close friends, and now all of you experienced poets. So I popped a Xanax, and let's see how this goes. All right. Reminisce and reconcile. I gave it a while. That sly smile, asking to reconcile. Boy, you haven't walked 1 mile, living in ridiculous denial. You want me to reminisce back to quiet, ignorant bliss, Intuition I quickly dismissed, truth hidden, covered with a kiss. You undeserving bastard, tales and deception you mastered, even fooled your dad, the pastor. So much for our happily ever after. Sure, I'll glance back to our history, all the lies still lost in mystery, our business in the paper and on TV, losing everything in our dignity, bold headlines for all to see. Chesapeake Sheriff's deputy robbed the local BB&T and shocked the community. No, you can't blame your defense. What you did makes no sense. And now you're behind a chain link fence. 3 hots in a cot, your penance, serving a 20-year sentence. Those white walls to stabilize, even now, do you realize that they can't sterilize what you caused to materialize? Behind thick steel bars, one small window, only a few stars, licking your wounds and deep scars while we are left to deal with ours. Family of 4 reduced to 3, 2 young kids, and just me growing up without daddy, ramen noodles, a delicacy, and 13 years later, changing laws and good behavior, claiming that you met your savior. What is our common denominator? You used to play guitar and drive around in antique cars, eating ice cream at Dumar's, young and the world was ours. Fast forward 10 years, you found your big fancy career. We have our 2 babies here to widen our small spheres. Then came the diagnosis, no easy stay at home oasis. Autism, that's what they say it is. No time to prepare for life's pop quiz. So now shit is getting real. Big responsibility, how will you deal? All caught up in your youthful feels, you decide it's not enough, you gotta steal. But soon they will open that gate, no longer bound to the state. What will be your brand new fate? Still a prisoner of your old mistakes, no longer limited to concrete walls, no longer limited to collect calls, free from concrete walls, feeling we can no longer stall, face to face, about to get blood raw. Where do we go? I don't know. Let's just take it slow and see if anything will grow. Thank you.
I'm gonna tell you what's about to grow, and that's about your followers on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, because you've just plugged into the crazy folks. Unmute yourself, give it up for Undermined.
One of us indeed.
I told you, I don't have to say anything, right? I told you, the community is going to let you know, welcome to the greatest community in the world. You may have heard some things that you are not necessarily familiar with. You heard some people say you're one of us, right? That means that we have welcomed you into this crazy weirdo corner fold, right? Again, plug your information into the chat. Again, that is what's going to go up after this evening, right? You're going to get a flood of folks coming to let you know that we have felt what you said. We are welcoming you into this community. We have heard what you said, right? And then how you come up, right? How you even showed up, right? You said you even fooled your dad, the pastor, right? You undeserving bastard. Listen, I truly dig when people bring their truth, right? Right, all the lies still lost in memory. Come on. Bold headlines for all to see. Like this is what people do, right? They don't hide how nasty and ugly they are, right? They put it on. They put it on, right? Family of 4 reduced to 3. Yeah, I'm quite familiar with that, right? And sometimes we do remain prisoners of old mistakes. But this is why poetry is so powerful, because we can heal and we can recapture our power through poems like that. Thank you, Undetermined Cause. Make sure you are putting your information where people can follow you. You are now one of us. You have totally just fucked up, because now you got to be here every Monday night with the rest of us. Appreciate you, East, for bringing in a newer member of our community. This is how we do, y'all. I love our community so much. Before we move on, I am going to pass it to the dopest tech in the Zoom verse, the one and only Ron Mark Thompson, aka RMT. If you're not down with RMT by now, damn it, you should be. Ron, how you feeling this evening?
Thank you so much. I'm feeling so great. Welcome, Undetermined Cause, for joining us. And thank you, Easter, for recommending and referring her to us, because just like in any other business and any other community, referrals are the sweetest thing. That means, that you love us. And now we have just gained a new member, Undetermined Cause. We look forward to see you here every Monday or every Thursday, because on that note, thank you to one of the dopest hosts in the online universe, Elemen2al, and I say one of because we also have another dope host on Thursdays, Ray Chain, and of course, before both of them came those who started the online open mics at the New Regan Poets Cafe Icon. We also consider them the dopest hosts. They have established something so great, and as Elemen2al said, we are now in week 162. We started in the pandemic within the first few weeks of starting lockdowns 3 years ago. It is so beautiful, powerful to be with the community every week. So thank you, Elemen2al, for coming up with these great themes each week. And I also want to give a big kudos to Elemen2al, because you see the amazing graphics and the video behind him in the background. Because like me, Elemen2al's other work, in addition to writing and poetry, is in the technology world, though his is a little bit different than mine. He does amazing, you see it on his social media. He puts the reels and the highlight reels together for the online open mic. He comes up with the social media posts. You see his background. He designs flyers. So if you need any such graphic design work, reach out to Elemen2al, elemental.com. I'm going to put in his social media, my social media, in the chat in a few minutes. Again, this is the best, you can do. Refer others, to him. If you need work done yourself, go to him. So, thank you again, Elemen2al, for all the work that you are doing in addition to hosting here. I am Ron Mark Thompson. I am the tech assistant here at the New Regan Poets Cafe. I work on the online Zoom workshops and programs, and currently I also work in person at 3 of the many weekly programs that we do inside the New Regan Poets Cafe, and 2 of the monthly programs. And talking about the in-person cafe, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for showing us that great background photo of you standing at the bar at the New Regan Poets Cafe. What a great photo, I love that. And Gustav, glad you're back and glad your camera works again. Of course, Murphy's Law, it went off right when you performed, but just like Elemen2al said, we still appreciated your performance, which was important. So I'm going to quickly share a few slides here. All of these links, I will put them in the chat. Maybe one of the most important is probably the link tree. There you can find all of the links to the New Regan Poets Cafe, our social media handles, our where we stream our live streams to, where you can get your newsletter, where you can contribute, because as you know, Mondays and Thursdays are free. So we do rely on grants and donations to keep our programming, here for you guys every week. Also, I'm going to quickly go through these slides here. Again, we do several online programs. We are in one right now, the Monday night online open mic. Ray Chain hosts the Thursday night online open mic. Every week, those two. On the first Wednesday of the month, we have the monthly Beatniks online, hosted by our executive director, La Brua. I do want to point out one more online program. You know by now that every Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time in Zoom, we are hosting writing workshops. This month, you can see it on the flyer. We had Lyrical Faith last week. This Thursday, Kyla Tukaya Garcia. Many of you know her. J Rose, our Wednesday night poetry slam host, will be hosting her first online workshop with the New Regan Poets Cafe next week on Thursday, May 18th. And then our own Paul Concasso, host of Voices and Vibes, will host the week thereafter. Again, Thursdays on Zoom, 6 p.m. You have all the individual flyers here, Kyla, J Rose, and Paul. So check us out. Also, weekly on-site, you heard Elemen2al mention. We currently have, let me count correctly, 3 on-site open mics, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. 3 slams, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday. Not in the same order, but again, there's something for everyone there, so you can check us out. Also, Voices and Vibes. We just had one this past Friday. Not this Friday, but the next following Fridays, we are back again. Friday, 6 p.m. in the New York Poets Cafe on East 3rd Street in New York City, and we have extended our special promotion. Tickets only $5. You can either sing karaoke, or you can bring your own independent music and your own tracks. Friday Night Slam again every Friday, 10 p.m., followed by the open mic. Again, follow us, so you can see all these events. First Wednesday of the month, 8 p.m. Beatniks Online, 9 p.m. in person, the Women's Orators Wednesday. And the second Friday of the month, that's the only Friday where we do not have Voices and Vibes, because the second Friday of the month, 6 p.m. is reserved for the ASL Slam at the New York Poets Cafe. There is one more program I want to remind you about. We just had this past Saturday, May 6th, we had a powerful performance event on refuge and finding home. We had 5 musicians and 3 performers. I happened to work at the tech booth in the cafe for that event. It was powerful. It was something that I didn't even expect. It wasn't just a poetry reading, it wasn't just a poetry reading, but it was performances, visualization of the poems, and powerful messages behind them. Judith Sloan, who organizes and curates this event, and her performers and musicians will be repeating this event on May 20th. However, even if you came to us on May 6th, this past Saturday, it will consist of slightly different poems and $15. And all scan the QR code. You all signed up for the day, so you will remember how to get there. Again, check us out. Lots going on. Thank you again, everyone, for your support. We really, really, really appreciate it. I'm gonna unmute our next performer, and actually, this is a good segue, because I'm gonna put my information in the chat as well. I am at Ron Mark Thompson, Mark with a C, Thompson without a P. But I also run an organization called the Bronx Art and Fun Hub, which co-sponsors the current Sunday Writers Meetup, which is a weekly online Zoom meetup of fellow writers every Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Merrily and Tabitha alternate hosting each of the sessions, and in those sessions we get a lot of writing done, as well as feedback and edits within each other. So if anyone wants to join us, just reach out to me. Again, I will put my socials in the chat. Merrily, I'm so glad, I'm happy I was there yesterday. We did the little new things, and specifically rapping, which was due to the husband of one of our fellow attendees. Merrily, you're always amazing. I'm glad you're back with us. Let everyone know where we may find you online, and then the next 3 minutes are all yours.
Hi, I'm just going to say, come and see me here on Mondays. Thank you very much, Ron. And hi, everybody. I have 3 poems tonight. They were all written to prompt from the 3030 poetry group that was going on during April. The first one was written to the prompt, Debris Trail. I don't usually remember what I ate late nights while under the influence of my sleeping meds until the morning when I see a debris trail, torn open packages, half-eaten cereal, inexplicably empty fruit container. What? A healthy snack? I remember falling asleep with my computer on my lap, waking to find it still perfectly perched and making it back home to my comfy bed. The next one was done to the prompt waltzing in 4/4 time, so I called it High School Waltz. It was high school physical education class. We were learning to dance, boys with girls. The teacher commented that if the boys' hands were too low on our backs, we could move them up. That was a great thing for her to say. It prevented potential awkwardness and shame. Compared to that, it was fine if the boys danced in 4/4 time. And the last one was done to the prompt playlist. Playlist, one of those not so newfangled things I don't even know how to do. The last time I listened to music on the subway was not live streaming or whatever you call it. It wasn't even CDs. It must have been cassettes. Ah, yes, a Walkman. There weren't AirPods, just small cushioned earphones. I remember listening to Christmas music one October in anticipation of my family's holiday get-together. I wondered if the strap hangers near me could hear those melodies seeping out of my earphones and puzzle at the off-season choices. In the old days, when I had a working stereo system, my playlist was choosing a particular album. Chicago, Heart, Doobies, Maynard Ferguson, Chick Corea, Miles. In my day, you were in the mood for a particular group, except in the really old days when it was a stack of 45s that dropped one by one like a jukebox. I have to admit, I did like to listen to the mix of songs on the radio, Casey Kasem and the countdown of the top 40. When I was a teenager growing up in Iowa, I would go to bed listening to my clock radio, sleepily writing down the songs I heard from a jazz station in New York City. Like a siren song, it called me. Here I am, nearly 50 years later, happily residing in the city that birthed the me I was meant to be. Thank you very much for your attention. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Merrily, for bringing those to us. Everyone, please unmute yourself and give her applause, please.
And now a story about a bear.
Yeah, that was great.
Thank you.
Merrily.
Great job.
Nice work.
Love that, Merrily.
Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you, Merrily, reminiscing about herself and the good old times. Casey Kasem, I remember that show when I came here in the 90s to the United States first. So that's great. Thank you, Merrily. You're just amazing. Keep coming back on Mondays here. And I know we sometimes see you on Thursdays as well. And at the cafe. I saw you in person last at one of the Wednesday night poetry slams. So thank you for keep supporting us. Really, really appreciate it. All right, next up, another one who has become a great mainstay for us, Mariana Taft, zooming in from one of the islands, I believe so. And Mariana, just to make sure on the ticket list, on our ticket site that I sent to Elemen2al, instead of Mariana, it said ML Taft.
Yeah.
Did I do that correctly? Is there something behind that?
Yes, my first name is Marianne and my middle name is Louise. So ML just crept in there. Good evening to you.
I love it. That may become that may become your new station name.
It could be. Indeed.
Thank you.
All
right, Mariana, you know how it goes. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Thank you, everyone. I'm really pleased to be back after a couple of weeks away in Toronto and back in the island as well, island of St. Martin, where I live. I want to follow the night's theme and reminisce a little and tell you in a song lyric what might have happened if you had told me. If you had told me it would ever hurt so much to say your name, like a voice inside me crying rivers in the rain. If you had told me I would miss you like the ocean craves the shore, my shoes would still be lying there inside your kitchen door. If you had told me I would ever have to stop and read the signs, standing at a corner where I've stood 1,000 times. If you had told me Friday night would drown the hurt, but Monday I'd be driving past that place you used to work. You know I've always been the kind to live inside my head, work things out in my mind and feel them to the end. So when I took my keys to go, the hurting had been done. But then I realized our love was never really gone. If you had told me that you wanted me to speak straight from the heart, knowing that the silences were always tearing us apart, if you had told me that you needed me to read between your lines, your smile would still be shining from the pillow next to mine. If you had told me all the things I didn't know, if you had told me you never wanted me to go, if you had told me we could have found another way, if you had told me I'd still be loving you today. Thank you.
Yes, yes, indeed. Y'all heard her say that. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Mariana Taft.
Truly
Was so
beautiful.
touching,
Beautiful.
Marianne.
Yes. Well said,
Beautiful.
Merrily.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
A pleasure. Thanks.
Listen, our community has such a diverse group of poets who truly come at our craft from different angles, right? And this is what I love about our community so much, is that even though we are all, living under the radiation of this yellow sun, we all have different perspectives, and that radiation affects us differently, right? And that poetic license, we use it so different. We truly do. I love it. It's like a credit card, right? Where some people will slap it down to buy a pack of gum. Some people will say, I need a private jet. You know what I mean? Like, how good is your credit in this community? It's just as dope as your poetry. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. One time, y'all, real quick, before we move on, unmute yourself. Give it up for the dopest hopes in the Zoomverse, on Mark Thompson.
Come
Ron.
on.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And tech, not host. I'm just making sure. But
You
thank
know
you.
what I mean. You know what I mean. Listen, clearly I'm the host. Ron is the tech. But listen, I really couldn't do what I do without Ron Mark Thompson, right? Because Ron allows me to do what I do very freely, right? Listen, y'all really don't know all the conversations that Ron and I have in the back channels, but that dude really, that dude loves our community. Truly, I can tell you that with my whole heart. That dude loves our community just as much as every host does. So thank you, Ron, for being dedicated as you have been and continue to be. Dopest tech in the Zoom first. All right, coming up next. I wasn't sure about the name, right? But now that I'm seeing their face, I know Nikki Sparks. They haven't been here in quite some time, right? But again, they are now back in the building. Goodness, it's been too long, so I'm glad I get to yell at you. I hope that you've either been writing the next great American novel or writing poetry for your next great American novel. The one and only Nikki Sparks is back in the building. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you. It is great to see you. Take it away.
Good to see you too, and to hear everyone. It's so nice to be back. I'm Nikki Sparks Poetry. I'll put it in the chat later because I forget where the underscore goes. I have two tonight, and the two that I am going to read, I actually worked on in some shape or form in the Sunday writers group that Ron had mentioned before, with Merrily and Tabitha leading. So I'm pretty proud of these, so I'd like to share them here. She struggles to catch up to him. Cheeks blushed the color of bad decisions, feet peppered with blisters that hurt today, but will be agony tomorrow. She's been running for months, trying to build a life where there was nothing before, to come to him as an equal. He didn't wait. He sprinted forward, dragging her along for a short while. All she wanted was reciprocation. All he wanted was open road. He was hungry, and she tore her heart in two, hoping they both could live off of it. But the heart is not symmetrical, and so it breaks in uneven pieces, and she is left with only a small fragment. Perhaps it's best to bury it. Let it take root in moist soil. Maybe it will grow and even blossom. Maybe there will be a life after this. It's my first. And my second. I promise I'm not picking at scabs, exposing flesh before it's ready to meet the world and leaving nasty scars. When I write, I'm resetting bones, breaking and rearranging osseous matter, memories, so that they can heal properly, so that they don't protrude under a thin layer of skin, achy and awkward, a not so hidden pain hindering movement, stunting growth. When I write, I am kicking up dust, nearly microscopic debris that settled over decades and lifetimes on picture frames and windowsills, in lungs, on heart. My words bring it all to surface, in swirls that sting the eyes, the betrayals and lies, the breaking of trust by the ones from who we expect the most. It was easy for you to ignore these hurts, but I'm raising them once again, to wash them away in blood and bleach, to scrub them from the walls of my mind, and now you must too. When I write, I see the future, a future where the neglect and harm of yesterday have no power over the present, where we both can examine and reflect on life's many hurts, but also its pleasures. My pen, an instrument of peace, no. A weapon to destroy those who've harmed me, no. A shield to protect me from hurt, no. A magnifying glass to look more closely at moments that went by too fast, no. An elixir with the promise of my healing, no. Yes, none of these and yet all of these. When I write, I'm able to see. When I write, I'm able to be. Thank you so much.
And this is why I yell at poets, because they show up and do that. Unmute yourself, give it up.
It's so good to have you
That
back.
spoke to me.
Quite
That
profound.
spoke to me.
Fantastic.
Profound.
Beautiful piece.
Loved it.
Right.
Just fantastic.
Quite profound.
Powerful piece, powerful piece. And thank you, Nikki, for also attending these and participating in these Sunday meetups. We're so happy we have you. And thank you for writing this and performing. That was great.
Okay. Okay. I see. I have not been sitting at the cool kids table. I am missing out. I see that now. Okay. That means that y'all just messed up, because now I'm going to kick in the door and wave in the 4-4 that is my pen. I love it. Thank you, Nikki Sparks, for finding your way back to our community. The first line she said in her first poem, I think, set the tone for the rest. She said she struggles to catch up to him, right? And what that does is that automatically puts you in a state of going forward, right? So I love that you set the tone from the beginning, right? Then you had the nerve to say that hurt today will become agony tomorrow. But there was one line that I have to apologize, because I was just lost in it for a second, because I had so many different images that popped up in my brain. You said he was hungry, so she broke her heart in two so they could both be fed. That is a sentiment that I don't know if I've ever heard a poet express in that way. But it is so beautifully profound when you think of your heart as substance, as food that not only feeds you, but also feeds your partner. So thank you for that, Nikki, for bringing that to us. And then she said, when I write, I'm kicking up dust. Nah. It's an instrument of peace. Nah. It's a shield that protects me from hurt. Nah. It's a magnifying glass. Nah. It's an elixir. Nah. Like, I love that shit, right? When our pen, it just transforms into so many different things. Thank you, Nikki Sparks, for coming back to us and sharing your incredible work with us. And, you know, letting me know that there's some secret shit going on. But don't worry about it. I'm going to kick in that door, too. I appreciate you, Nikki Sparks, for coming through and sharing that incredible work with us. Make sure you are plugging in with Nikki Sparks. Coming up next, this incredible poet runs his own open mic, has a manuscript of his own, and a style that I have admired from the first time I heard him. There is only one of these cats in the world, and he is so profoundly, incredibly him. The one and only Dane Ins is in the building. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online, Dane. It's always great to see you. Take it away.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Thank you to all poets and everybody that's here. And I switch things around. So yeah. The beautiful woman in the old house by the river had a basket for berries, longing to be filled. In summertime, she would walk down near the flow of smooth current river glass reflection with her basket to pick berries. She watched the river flow and flow. The current of the river rippled every color in the rainbow out to sea. She picked summer berries, large, sweet berries, juicy berries. She put the berries in her basket. The berries rested upon each other. The berries, their heavy, sweet, sweaty berry pulchritude piled up. The fullness of berries piled up in the basket. High, huge plumpness, the berries burnished by summer sun. The mouth waters, runs, chin leaks, brambleberries glisten, hanging till harvest. The birds will fight. Watch for snakes, the berries, the nod and blink of berries dancing. A few berries slip past lips, while others, maybe the best berries, wind up in the basket of berries and berries. Wounded juice runs down fingers till licked, the sweet sucked up. Oh my, this berry hallelujah basket full of berries carried back to the kitchen. The prayer of berries galore, berries baked into pies, golden crust, the berry liquor resting warm under baked flaky domes, sugar, spice shines in the castle, sparkles, inviting berries and berries and berries, cooked, waiting, longing for the psalms, the perfect sugar spice, chewed and swallowed, eaten, happy, sliding down into stomach, filling the warm place, berry full. The fruit of summer sun fills the finish. The berries do their berry job. The woman in the old house by the river climbed up, happy to sleep on straw bed, tight white linen sheets, fluffy feathered duvet snuggles, and lovers headlock on down pillows. Soft sleep, river dreams flowed in. Mockingbirds sing. The beautiful woman in the old house by the river had a basket for berries, longing to be filled. In summertime, she would walk down near the flow. Next piece. It's like life. Sad and sexy and beautiful, lost on the edge of grief, where slipping slides into warm darkness of a mezcal dream, where you change sides of the bed where you sleep. There's no one there to object, to state a preference, settled with a pillow fight. I'm broken now. For so long, this is normal. Tahoe snow melt, salty. But there it is. Glorious morning, kissing me on the cheek. Thank you.
And this is why I yell at Dane and I say the things that I say about Dane. Unmute yourself, give it up for Dane.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Go Beardo.
Wow.
Again, Dane is one of those poets. When I first came into our community, I heard this poet, and he was, to me at the time, he was one of the most fearless poets I had ever heard in my life, right? I mean, my ears were blushing because of the things that Dane was saying, right? But he has inspired me to be just as fearless as he continues to be. And the way that he tells the stories, right? The way that he just set it up for you, right? A beautiful woman in an old house. In summertime, she would walk to the river, right? She would walk down to the flow. And not only did he start with it, he brought it back to you, right? The berries, the fullness of berries, right? Furnished by the summer sun, right? Wounded juice runs down fingers. Come on. He also mentioned a lover's headlock on down pillows. You know, and this is what I love about what we do, is because what you saw was an entire story unfold. And I know all of these incredible creatives in this building, I know y'all saw that story unfold just like I did. I know you did, right? You could almost even smell the water and the berries that she was carrying in the basket. Thank you, Dane. Thank you for being an incredible storyteller and sharing it with us. Keep telling y'all, greatest community in the world. Real quick, shout out a couple folks. Odin versus Loki was in the building. I see a Victoria Suggs is here. Dark Man Blues is in the building. Real quick, shout out the Graybeards in the building. Shout out Guerrilla Poets. There's so many people in our community, man, for real, right? And here comes another member of our community that is a beast in the best of ways. Owner and creator of a brand new manuscript. I've told him recently, it sounds like a band, right? Between his original name and his book name, it sounds like a band and an album waiting to happen. I'm glad that this cat has fit us in his crazy schedule. The one and only Daniel Fernandez is in the building. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you, Daniel, and how they can get your manuscript. Great to see you. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. I just put my information in the chat. You can find me on Instagram and then on here on Mondays and Thursdays. I have a poem that I've written about 2 weeks ago that I'll share. It has a hook that gets repeated twice, but I'll say it once to cut it to 3 minutes. So this one is I'm So High. For the ones who comes to the open minds, open mics, have heard this. I'm so high and I don't know why. I keep on losing myself. I keep on crying. I don't know why. And I keep on blaming myself. Life is funny, I'm not that hungry, and with time that will seem to change. I watch TV and I can't go sleep. I took too much, I can't manage. I'm so high and I don't know why. I will sit down and relax. Go through my phone and be home alone as I find things to distract. I keep on smiling, this weed surprised me. I feel like I'm in a dream. I'm zoned out like a conscience under stress, forlorn because of a boulder of debt, consumed enough gummies to have a stoner impressed, expensive, like a pack of cigarettes. I'm blessed to have a girlfriend, that's the best. She walks with her heart and gives upon requests, loses patience, and say sorry with sex. I guess I apologize too if I can undress. Watch a movie like a comfortable guest. I confess I'm crazy like those from out west, unless I'm rich because my demons digress. Compress the thoughts that roam in my head. Take a rest as I lay on the bed, get anxious on the road to success, sinking in the couch, surfing the internet as I demand change like the average protest. Give opinions because it's crucial to express, to make $1 off of just 5 cents or less. Technically, it all depends. Don't stress, just relax. It's what I recommend. And then it's the hook, but I'll just jump into verse 2. I have a blunt on my hand while driving a 98 Camry. Blasting the subs I installed because the bass became a need. Bumping to the rhythm and absorbing the energy. My lungs are vibrating and my windshield is cracked, you see? Not a fast vehicle, but it'll get you places. Your ears might be bleeding, but the soul's on vacation. Windows down, watching for a reaction. People dancing and smiling, sharing the passion. Adjusting the mirrors as if it's my glasses. Turn the volume up, flooding in a satisfaction. Cops patrolling, but fuck it, I let it happen. Not harming anyone, just vibing with my seatbelt fastened. Gas mileage, that lasts about 2 weeks. I do 60 anyways, regardless, I can't speed. Go home, park, and smoke again. Laugh for an hour, then head back out with a friend. There is no back seat because there are 2 18s. Don't judge, just listen, I guarantee. Make you close your eyes and say, stop, please. Make you question my sanity, even though I'm pleased. Just driving, hands out, letting my fingers move with the breeze. Bass kicking, foot pushing, lay back in ecstasy. You wouldn't understand unless you really know me. People are so quick to label you lazy and crazy. I won't deny because maybe. Grooving on the daily, praying for a lady. I trust you as long as you don't betray me. Sun's coming down as nightfall emerges. Get home, shower, and check on how my bird is. Give food and water like a personal servant. Put YouTube and get lost on what to search, and I kick back and let the mind drift. Take a puff and get lost in my conscience. Life is good, and there goes another day. Vibe and chill as you keep the demons at bay. Cherish existence before your thoughts are in disarray. Just breathe. That's the point I'm trying to convey. Thank you.
Just breathe indeed. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Daniel Fernandez.
Nice work, Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel.
Thank you.
Your poems are great. And thank you again for last week as well for this wonderful tribute to all of us. You know, Daniel, you're amazing.
I love your wisdom.
Yes, buy his book.
Man,
Yes.
listen, I have listened to the appreciate you, Ron, for saying that. I've listened to that poem a few times. I have referenced that poem a few times. If you don't know what we're talking about, make sure you are watching the stream from last week, where Daniel brought in a poem called New Eurekan Love. And that touched me in a different way, really. So thank you, Daniel, because you have just made it worse for everyone around me. You know what I mean? Because you said some shit in that poem, like, well, okay, guess I got to turn it up. So it's your fault. It's your fault, Daniel. Thank you for being a mainstay of our community. Listen, he said you have to demand change like the average protest, right? Listen, I had 12s. All right. I had 12, so I know the knock that he's talking about. I know y'all might not have caught that. He said there's no back seat because there's 2 18s. Just 2 18s. I know y'all might not have caught that, but that shit's knocking. That shit's knocking. You can't even hear yourself think if you got 2 18s in your back seat. But let me tell you, like he said, your eardrums may be bleeding. Sorry about the light, folks. Your eardrums may be bleeding, but your soul is absolutely free. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us, Daniel. I appreciate you for being a mainstay. And listen, that dude has a crazy schedule, right? So make sure you are plugging into Daniel and all they do and get his book, Emotional Defibrillator. For real, I think that's just a dope-ass name. I'm telling you, I think that's a dope-ass name. Right. Coming up next, listen, y'all, we are coming close to the end, right? We got about 6 or 7 poets left. But listen, coming up next, this poet I like to call the Iron Chef of poetry, because he continues to serve us up some of the most delectable poetic dishes that we consume on a weekly basis. This gentleman hosts his own open mic on the 1st and 3rd Mondays of every month, Cafe Generalissimo. One thing I can tell you about this gentleman, everything he thinks is all in his mind. The one and only Generalissimo, Brian Franco, is in the building. Unmute yourselves. Let the folks know where they can find you, Generalissimo. Always great to see you. Take it away.
First of all, I'm just gonna say thank you very much, Elemental, for all the nice things. On the first and third Wednesday, it's right before Neo starts at 5:30. We start reading at 5:45. It runs till 7:45. The first poem I'm going to read tonight is in my book, Everything I Think Is All in My Mind. It's called We Are All Born Confused. We fight and we fight. We punch and we punch. Sometimes we think we have wrapped our hand, put on gloves, only to look down to bear witness to bare knuckles. Sometimes there is no punching bag in front of us. There is just air. There's nothing in front of us for our fist to connect to, yet the empty before us feels like punching a brick wall. We exit our mother's wombs, kicking and screaming. We are born fighting to enter this world. Some of us continue to fight the rest of our lives. We understand why we must always fight. Sometimes we don't realize we are fighting when we think we are just breathing and surviving. We allow bullies, bosses, abusive lovers to narrate our truths with psychological and chemical warfare. They speak the language of mustard gas with words that burn through our steam. For some of us, the act of waking up includes installing brass knuckles into our vocal cords so our words become weapons of mass protection. For some of us, our silence is self-flagellation for allowing others to guide the pens with which we write our lives. So we must relearn to wrap our hands and again wear the gloves we were born wearing when we kicked and screamed our way into this world, so we don't have to write our futures with our gloves on. And then the next poem I just found out that I'm a top 10 finalist for a mental health poetry contest. I'm going to put the information on how you can vote for me in the chat. And the deadline for that is the end of this month, and it's called I Never Thought I Could Be a Cartographer. Imagine if there were a map a person could follow to achieve joy. Being a human being is about being, is about breathing, is about waking up every day, is about putting feet onto floor and getting out of bed, is about living life, is about deciding to do all of the above. Some days I wake to birdsong outside my bedroom window, to sunshine peeking through the blinds, but there are days I wake to rain that tap dances across a roof as if it were my destiny, to rain that feels destined to flood my day. Those days are days I need to slip on boxing gloves or brass knuckles to fight for the right to put my feet on the floor, the right to get out of bed, the right to live life. Those are the days when turning the knob on the shower feels like pushing a Sisyphus boulder, but the second the water sprays from the shower head, the steam rises against my face, the torrent touches my back, the boulder shrinks to the most minuscule pebble and washes down the drain into oblivion. I put loose Kashmiri green tea, allspice, cardamom, mace, and white peppercorns in a drawstring tea bag, then steep it in boiled water. I drizzle coconut milk into the tea to create a chai that tastes like hope. Joy is achieved. Sometimes I listen to sad songs or watch a tearjerker till tears turn to laughter. Sometimes I go to a diner and sit at the counter to breathe in the sound of people. Sometimes I go to a museum to sit on a bench and stare at a painting in silence. Colors and brush strokes sound like jazz. Music I close my eyes to listen to. I am in a trance. I am levitating. Joy is achieved. I am charting a new map to find joy every day I wake and decide to live life. Every map is a map I must decide to chart because I don't need joy to breathe, but it sure does make life more worthwhile. Gracias, everyone.
Just as you make our taste buds sing with every delectable dish you serve up, Elissimo. Unmute yourself. Give it up for General Elissimo.
Generalissimo.
Great job,
Yeah.
Elissimo.
Good job.
I'm voting for you.
Me too.
Thank you.
This is why I call this gentleman the Iron Chef of poetry. every time he comes up, every time he serves you a delectable dish that's still piping hot in the perfect temperature, right? So we are born fighting to enter this world. But the line that jumped out to me the most, he said, our words become weapons of mass protection. Mass protection. Plus, I've been watching something recently. So this next line that I'm going to mention really struck a chord with me. And I believe I've heard the Magus mention this as well. But he said, pushing a Sisyphus boulder, right? If you are unfamiliar with the punishment of Sisyphus, it is bananas. Okay. So thank you, General Elissimo, for sharing your extensive knowledge with us. And of course, the incredible things that are all in your mind. Fun fact, it was General Elissimo that unconsciously kind of taught me that these backgrounds could be freaked out. General Elissimo was the first one that I saw in our community who had a different background every single time. And I said, damn it, how does he do that? Because I remember one time he said, oh, I created this, and it was like some kind of a multi-tier thing. I can't remember, General Elissimo. I'm not gonna, try to remember what it was called, but it was a multi-tier thing that you created, and it was beautiful. And I was like, oh my gosh, you can do that? So thank you, General Elissimo, for starting a crazy trend that unfortunately I've just taken to the next level, but you were the inspiration for that. So thank you for continuing to serve up some delectable dishes. I'm telling you. And listen, one of the first people I thought about when I came up with the theme for next week, the chocolate, the decadence, was General Elissimo. Trust and believe. He is going to serve up something incredibly tasty if he chooses to get down with us. Thank you, General Elissimo. All right. Coming up next, shout out to East Bay in the building. This gentleman right here, there are a few members of our community that do this thing with words, right? There is one, Michael Schindler. There is one, shout out Dr. Strange. And then there is this gentleman. If you are not familiar with this gentleman, I would suggest that you break out your notepad and start taking notes, because his vocabulary is extensive and mind-blowing. The one and only Lamar Mitchell is in the building. Bro, I get to yell at you because it's been too damn long since we've seen you and experienced your incredible work. Again, shout out to East Bay in the building. Let the folks know where they can find you online, man. Great to see you. Take it away.
Great to be here, man. So you can find me on Facebook as Khalifa Mitchell. I'll put it down later, but so here we go. This is called Drawing Maps to Something Greater Than Utopia. If the world could be mapped by the peaks and valleys and subterranean creeks of psychic pain, where would you hide and what form would you shapeshift into to escape the spineless rain? Lifeless fangs inserted into the body of the fetus as the vampire suckles out her bloodstream, takes the world out of the world to replace it with the monkey smut dreams. Nihilism is a gateway drug into a winding current of self-negation. Black Dot moves through city, fed orgasms and dog food in constant threat of predation. Super predators on the block, coalescing in the shade of ugly black. Toss pallor on a motherfucker to get my empire and my country's back. I was both king, queen, plebeian, god, philosopher, and vagrant. I was shoveling shit that masqueraded as gold when I thought it wasn't looking. I was pushed into an abyss, forcefully by the sorcery of a primitive technology. There is a luxury of fear for people without melanin, just living within the latticework of ghetto psychology. Struck the lottery, now the lotto complains I'm subjugating it and denying its rights, when I have the perfect right to riches, bruised and scarred from me inflicting violence upon my wife. It's my life, it's my privileges, it's my traditions, it's my culture. You are the problem, not me. I gave you monkey ass soap operas and laptops and electricity bills you can't afford to pay. I brought civilization and with it social diseases, but you are the fucking illness. Black fragility, black privilege, black ego, reverse racism, white oppression, wokeness. Caught you crackers sleeping on the job. I am not your Negro. I am your Pharaoh. I am your eternal king, your benefactor. The meta answer is a numinal nest full of vultures ready to devour dead flesh soon as the observer effect hits your eye with sunlight, revealing reality. And reality is a sore bitch when you're hit in the mouth with it, like killing Colin Kaepernick to save a Klansman's life. White lives matter, emphatically so, as usual. But when the world unequivocally worships your Aryanness, it's easy to forget that black is beautiful. It's easy to forget they burned down Black Wall Street. It's easy to forget the 12.5 million Africans stolen from the comforts of their suburban homes while busy watching Moorish television. It's easy to forget how not to shut up and dribble and just mope on with life praying to Muslims bomb the World Trade Towers and barge into America illegally. It's easy to forget how many black men murdered countless battalions of white girls. It's easy to forget how Reginald Denny got beat up in the Rodney King race riots. It's easy to forget that blackness was once considered a lighthearted, family-friendly topic for metaphysical discussion. It's just simply too easy to forget. This might be the poem that gets me killed, but you will not forget that. Like, how does some nerdy ass light-skinned de facto white boy know anything about the lifestyles of the richly melanated? I don't know. Maybe it's because I read a lot. Maybe it's because I'm not stupid. I watch too much Captain Planet or something. I am not enlightened. I am darkened. So lastly, tell war to rest in peace and never again rise from the slumber of its tomb as we fall numb from the comforts of our wounds. Thank you.
Warriors, come out to play. Warriors. Unmute yourself, give it up for Lamar Mitchell.
Yeah,
Amazing. Wow.
So good.
I think we all got woke.
Warriors.
I love it. Shout out the Warrior jersey in the building. You know what I mean? Listen, this is why I yelled at Lamar, right? Again, shout out East Bay in the building. This is why I yelled at that cat. And this is why I reference him. I know some of y'all might have been wondering, like, wait a minute, why is he referencing Michael Schindler and Messiah Payne? Now you understand why, right? The vampires suckle from bloodstreams? What? What? Super predators on the block? Yeah, living in that ghetto psychology, man. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? And then he had the nerve to quote James Baldwin. I am not your Negro. Come on. How not to shut up and dribble. Yes, indeed. This is what we do, y'all. This is what we do, right? For the folks who know nothing about the richly melanated, this is what we do on a regular basis. I told y'all, some people do this, but we do this. And here comes another example of how we do this. This next gentleman runs his own open mic, right? This is why our community is truly international. It's truly beautiful. And we break time zones and barriers. This gentleman's open mic comes up at 10:30 a.m. New York time every Saturday. The one and only Unmesh Itagard is in the building. Unmute yourself, Unmesh. Let the folks know how they can connect with you and all the crazy things that you do. Great to see you. Take it away.
Hey, Elemental. Great to see you. Hello, everyone. I'm Unmesh Itagard on Facebook and Instagram. I got an open mic, Let's Unmesh Life, every Saturday, 11:30 a.m. New York time. Please do join. I will put the links in the chat. And here we go on the topic. Reconciliation can come from anywhere. It can come from a position of strength. Mostly, it comes from a position of weakness. Rarely you see people looking to reconcile from a position of strength. Reconciliation never ends with reconciliation. There are phases after that, like night after day. People never change totally. The situation changes. Conditional love is just conditional, like a contract. You break one condition and the contract breaks, like a second-hand bike waiting for a failure. People who reconcile in love are not weak. They are stronger than the brave soldiers who knows there is no way back. Jailers put the unruly inmates in isolation for days and weeks. Isolation can make you miss dearly the outside hell. Such is the force and the power of loneliness. The impact is slow, like petals being plucked from a flower on a plant, feathers plucked from an alive bird, peeling off layers covering you, like a sofa in an unoccupied flat. The fear of isolation can bring reconciliation. Not a bad thing, just like earth, moon, and sun are interconnected to each other. Our lives are intermingled with each other knowingly or unknowingly. Sometimes, whatever you try, nothing works. You just reconcile with yourself. Reconcile with the weight. Reconcile with the fate, waiting for the opening of the unknown, unnamed gate. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Listen, and it is crazy early on Unmesh's side of the world, but he continues to do it. Unmute yourself, give it up for Unmesh Itagard.
That was beautiful.
Yeah,
That was one of your best poems. That was great.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not familiar with Unmesh, Unmesh is not just a poet, right? Similar to who you heard earlier, Mr. Tess Sawmill, Unmesh does more for our earth than just reciting poems, right? I believe, Unmesh, correct me if I'm wrong, your father was a farmer, right? Unmesh's family has been helping to feed us in so many different ways. And Unmesh is just taking it upon himself to feed our soul with his poetry and his imagery. Unmesh, you are one of the most valued members of our community, and we appreciate you for always connecting and staying connected to our community. Make sure you are plugging in with Let's Unmesh Life every Saturday morning, 10:30 Eastern. For real, it is a truly beautiful international and global space. Thank you, Unmesh. All right, y'all. 4 poets left, and it is going to be beautiful. Coming up next, I believe we've heard this poet once before. They came through with the Whisper Poet, if I'm not mistaken. But I am glad that this poet has signed up for themselves so we get a chance to hear what their incredible voice sounds like for themselves. And I am looking forward to it. The one and only Pam Rice is in the building. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know where they can find you online. It is great to see you. Please take it away.
Hi, everybody. I've got 2 poems from workshops last week that I want to share. The first one's called Tag. Tag, you're it. I'm what? You know, you're it. Can they tell? Do they see? I try so hard to hide it. Why won't they let me be? You run away laughing. I don't want you to know. If I catch you, will you let me go? I reach out and touch you. It's your turn to shine. You're it now. I have saved my mind. The second one's called The 4 Riders. Distraction rides astride a hummingbird. Its wings mesmerize me with their fury, flitting here and there. My mind cannot see the words beneath their wings. Expectation is blocking me on the back of a bull. I strive to create around it, through it, above it. It starts to charge up my pen and leaves me with nothing to say. Fear climbs atop a sinuous, venomous snake. It writhes in and out of my subconscious, striking me with its deadly poison. I cannot escape. Shame is riding a jet black bat. It seeks the shadows and crevices in my soul. How can I write? How can I share? Am I even there?
Wow. I don't know if you were there or where or anywhere else, but we know that you are here. We are happy that you are. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Pam Rose.
Nice work, Pam.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you, everyone.
Listen, I truly, truly love when poets come through with their absolute truth. And when they tie it to something that we all know and love. From the very beginning, they said, Tag, you know, you're it. I try so hard to hide it, but you're it. I love that. Because again, it goes into what I've said before, the poems that we need to write, right? A lot of us, probably most of us as poets, we go around and we see different themes, different, prompts popping up all over the place, right? And we do our best to kind of go into those and write those poems, right? But these are the types of poems that you absolutely need to write, right? And in the second poem, I love how you paid so much attention to detail. You said, as far as the hummingbird, its wings mesmerize me with their fury. And I love that because it's the fury of their wings that keeps them balanced, right? And we have some of that very similar to what we do as poets, right? It can be very chaotic at times, but we maintain a balance to be able to do what we do. Thank you, Pam Rice, for signing up and for coming through and sharing your incredible work with us. Make sure you are plugging in with Pam Rice. Trust me, they are a newer mainstay of our community. Bottom 3, the last 3, and you know it only gets hot and hype at the bottom of the lineup. Trust and believe. And here comes the first of the final 3, 1/3 of the Jersey Trinity, poet of the Chameleon Chronicles. You will definitely see this poet coming up soon as one of the features of the Monday night features. The one and only Terry Rose Jertson is in the building. Meet yourself, Terry. Let the folks know where they can find you online. It's always great to see you. Take it away.
Thank you. You can find me on Teresa Rose Jertson on Facebook, and you can find me on the Chameleon Poetic on Instagram. I'm going to read something from, I have a request from Brian, so I'm probably going to have to do that. But I want to read one really short piece first that I did in a workshop with Paul Conqueso for Cycles, Art Defined. And it's called Bull Song. I was your bull song, distracted with something sweet and music of love, you lured me in, unaware of your murdering tendencies. It was a power trip for you to possess me, overpower me. When I wasn't looking, you stabbed me. With your sword, I bled. One stab a day until I was scabbed over, not yet left for dead. Continued to make fresh wounds until my heart resembled a pin cushion. My skin crawled away from my body before you could gather it to make your suit of armor, your matador trophy. Right. And now I'm going to go into this other piece that's not heavy. It's just like a pun. If you give 1,000 monkeys 1,000 typewriters, the infinite monkey theorem states that a monkey hitting keys at random on a typewriter keyboard for an infinite amount of time will almost surely type any given text, such as the complete works of William Shakespeare. And in the interest of science, in 2002, lecturers and students from the University of Plymouth Media Lab Arts used a grant from the Arts Council to study the literary output of real monkeys. They left a computer keyboard in the enclosure of 6 monkeys in the Peyton Zoo in Devon, England for 1 month, with a radio link to broadcast the results onto a website. Not only, wow, hang on. Ah, hold on, damn it. Oh, I was afraid that was gonna happen. Hold on.
Oh, we are still here because we want to know what happened after the monkey streamed to the website. Trust and believe, Terry. We are still
It's
here.
always some kind of tech problem. It's just so annoying. All right,
Hey,
so
you know what? When the best poems happen, there's always issues. Come on, Terry.
Right?
Come on, Terry. We here with you. Come on.
Right, all right, here we go. All right. Not only did the monkeys produce nothing but 5 total pages, largely consisting of the letter S, the lead male began striking the keyboard with a stone, and other monkeys followed by soiling it. Mike Phillips, director of the university's Institute of Digital Arts and Technology, said that the artist-funded project was primarily performance art, and they learned an awful lot from it, and concluded that monkeys are not random generators. They're more complex than that. They were quite interested in the screen, and they saw that when they typed a letter, something happened. There was a level of intention there. So from that, I have the 2 haikus. Monkeys type letter, no prose, poetry, or rhymes, shitting on Shakespeare. Haiku number 2, tired of trying to write American novel? Smash keyboard with rock. Thank
you. Smash keyboard with rock. Indeed. Damn it, Terry, you did that. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Terry Rose Jertson.
Good job, Terry. That was fun.
Yeah, Terry.
I think we all want to smash some technology right now.
I love
Oh my goodness. I love it. If all else fails and your keyboard will not respond, hit that shit with a rock. Oh my goodness. I dig that. Oh, and then of course, you know, somebody hits it with a rock first, then they start defecating on shit. Listen, shout out Cycles, shout out Art Define. I was in that workshop. Unfortunately, I had to jump early, but it was no bull indeed, right? Thank you, Terry, for sharing that with us. Listen, I just, again, Terry's one of those writers, right? Had the nerve to end that poem with your Matador trophy, right? And again, if you were in that space, then you would have seen the imagery that Paul Conqueso shared that invoked that line, right? And then in the second poem, you know, where they were talking about, you know, the infinite monkey theory, like, come on, the literary output of real monkeys, right? Then they call that primarily performance art? What the hell? What the hell is going on? And thank you for the haiku, right? because they are indeed shitting on Shakespeare. So thank you. Make sure you're plugging in with Terry Rose Jertson and copping the Chameleon Chronicles. Terry is all kinds of amazing. For real. Thank you, Terry. All right. Final two, y'all. Coming up next, I believe this is this poet's first time sharing their artwork with us. So before I yell at you and welcome you into our community, please unmute yourself and let the folks know where in the world you are located.
Hi, I'm in Seattle. Far away.
Shout out. Oh my gosh. Okay. Shout out to 425 in the building. Listen, I was just talking to my baby who is in Seattle. Shout out my boo-boo. Listen, Seattle is such an incredible space. Thank you for joining us. How did you come across our open mic this evening?
Just by accident. I've been meaning to like participate for a while, but just, life happens. And I'm excited to share my free verse poetry with the group tonight, and
welcome. You have stumbled upon the greatest community in the world. No matter how this goes, you will get some crazy loud noise after you finish. So please make sure you are plugging your information in the chat. Welcome to our community. Please take it away.
Okay. This is my poem, Chaga Intellectuals, Chaga Coffee. My Chaga hut was built from straw where goats are fed. My lips were soft and I was an ambassador to Washington wearing a wetsuit. My seventh death as a Black woman was executed by my former lovers. I was an exercise in pain while his method of resistance was lost in narcotic rings with his pupil. I dined on chicken wings that were browned by my ancestors that taught me how to speak Swahili through banana beer. I was a Chaga intellectual, and Chaga coffee is served best when hot. I was born into royalty as a half and half villager, and I was melanated in braids inside of my Chaga house on dirt roads that I have claimed in Africa upon my arrival in the era of the Danube. I swayed beats with bare feet and crazy rhythms. I was a Chaga intellectual, a chocolate intellectual, Chaga coffee. Baby girls' red lips were puffed out, chain smoking in community colleges at the North Shore. I wove my politics blind, guided by renegades, as my ancestry has wept from oppression's whip. In a hut, then I became a Black renegade of means, beaded in cornrows as I was losing gods. I worked in a downtown office for the Church of God, and I was deluded of feeling as I sang deadpan in front of a raised microphone. I see you're stealing chickens again. All my children are unborn. My textured hair grows loose and kinky, and my pencil liner is smeared under my brown eyes, and my name was Mary. I am praying for peace between cultures with my words spun into gold on a loom in an African village in my Chaga tribe. I was a Chaga intellectual, Chaga coffee. I close my heavy-lidded eyes, drifting off to sleep. Then I feel his hands as I tossed and turned in sequin chiffon. I could not see his face, but I could feel his hands, something, it wasn't real. I woke up and I could smell exotic florals wafting in the air that was humid and hot, and a gunshot rang out and then a siren. Bones were laid out at my feet as I lie in a boat. I fled from a witch doctor. I was a Chaga intellectual, Chaga coffee, Chaga woman. Thank you.
You better come through with that chant. You better come through with all that Swahili, baby. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Tiffany Hayden.
One Great to hear you.
One of us. Oh my goodness. Like I mentioned, shout out to 425, shout out to 253, shout out to 206. Listen, I spent quite a bit of time in that area. Again, shout out my boo-boo and big time. Listen, you might have heard some things that you are not necessarily familiar with, but you have been rocking with us throughout the night. So you know what it means. You know what you just heard. You just fucked up, ma'am, because you have to be here every Monday because you have just been welcomed into the greatest community in the world. Regardless if you're an ambassador to Washington wearing a wetsuit or not, you are here now. And shout out and sending love to the family who taught you to speak Swahili. Come on. Come on. As an accessory. He said, as my ancestry had wept from history's whip. Right? Like I've said in my poetry plenty of times, right? The oppressor has done their best to remove our native tongues, to destroy our native tongues. And Swahili is one of those native tongues. So what I'm going to challenge you to do, even though you have just joined our community, yeah, I am that cat. I want to hear you rip some poetry in Swahili. That is your challenge. The next time you come back, I want to hear Swahili. Make sure you come back, all right? You have been welcomed into the greatest community in the world. We are looking forward to hearing you next time you come through. All right, folks, we have reached the closer of the evening, and I think this poet is quite comfortable in the closer spot, because they continue to find themselves perfectly aligned with the last spot of the evening. And I'm totally cool with it, because there's only one closer, like there's only one closer, that is Marty. Unmute yourself. Let the folks know how they can find all the diamonds in the abyss. Please, take it away.
You can find me on Marty. I'm on Diamonds in the Abyss. I'm on Instagram, and the link is there for my my blog that I try to update usually. Here we go. Here's the poem. I don't even have it titled. It's on theme. I dropped my bags at my feet. I dropped all my bags at my feet. I just needed a 30-minute break. And just as I dropped the last load, I ran into someone that I didn't expect to see. Hey, you, it's been a while. And my reflection smiled shyly and blushed. As I walked closer, I could feel the oceans weighing on my eyelids, getting ready to breach. You see, I avoid the mirror like it's a 6-foot deep pothole because I know I can't take the hit. Life has caused me to shapeshift so much, I never know who I will see. One day I am a mess of curls with a tear-streaked face, and other days I am staring down my worst enemy. Today was different because just once, I recognized me. I crossed my arms and embraced my shoulders with a tight hug. It felt good not to feel the burdens weighing them down. I stood almost nose to nose with myself while we practiced smiling and laughing at the phrases we were imagining and wished were being whispered a little bit more into our ear. We counted each gray hair by taking turns saying, he loves me not, he loves me. Reminiscence of our youth wanes with each unpigmented strand. I placed my hand against the mirror to steady myself because I could feel my feet beginning to sink back into the quicksands of life. I looked up and realized that fear no longer lived in my reflection's eyes. I can survive anything. And as I was swept away by the quicksand, carrying all my burdens, I sang the ballad for the broken ballerina. No matter the pain, Broken ballerinas can still dance. Encore, encore, pretty girl. Encore, encore, handsome sir. Even when the music stops, even when the stage crumbles, even when the theater is empty, you dance, you leap, you soar. Broken ballerina, encore, encore. Poem.
Even when the stage crumbles, she shows up and shows out. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Marty.
Yeah,
Diamonds
Marty.
in the abyss.
Great
Yeah.
job.
Wow.
Mari. What a way to close.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, we have found our closer. The one and only Marty continues to do that. I don't know how they do it, right? Just like I don't know how Deadpan always finds herself in the top spot, Marty seems to find herself at the closer spot. So look, I'm cool with that, right? If that's where y'all comfortable, listen, we will start the night with Deadpan and we will end the night with Marty. I'm completely cool with that, right? Especially when you come through with I can feel the ocean on my eyelids. Come on. Come on. Just for once, I recognize me. She said, as we're practicing smiling. You know what I mean? I love the fact that your reflection is someone that you recognize them as an extension of you, right? With each unpigmented strand. Listen, that gray hair is disrespectful, okay? I don't know about y'all who got gray hair, but that shit's disrespectful, okay? It shows up all in the front row seats and shit. Like, how did you get first class tickets? Listen, and then, you know, they mentioned, you know, they sang the Ballad of Broken Ballerinas, right? Even when the stage crumbles. I love that line. I love that line. Make sure y'all take that with you, put it in your spirit, right? Even when the stage crumbles, we remain. We are here. Even when the stage crumbles, we will remain permanent because our roots are dug in just that deep. And our community is just that strong. Forgive me. I'm just that biased because I love all y'all. Because it's the greatest community in the world. Try me if you want to, but I guarantee you, you're going to lose every time. All right. Thank y'all for staying with us all throughout this evening. Shout out to the folks who weren't able to catch up with us this evening. Shout out Lantern Carrier. Shout out Kelly Mack. We hope that you're good and we hope to see you next week, if at all possible. Thank you to everyone. Again, make sure you are plugging in with the squad. It's Ray Jane, Paul Conqueso, RMT. Listen, plug in with all the things that New Eurekan has going on. Make sure you're plugging into neweurekan.org. To every poet who touched this microphone this evening, from Deadpan to Marty and RMT and everyone in between, thank you. I love all of y'all. We will end the night like this. Until we meet again, may this energy we conjured this evening supercharge the rest of your week. Take this power, inspire others, energize creativity as we all hope to do through the spirit of Miguel Agarin. Your voice is appreciated, necessary, and always valuable in this space. Thank you for sharing it with us. On behalf of the greatest community in the world, it has truly been a pleasure spending Monday night with y'all. Until next week, peace.